Oh wow, seems like things are getting really tense at the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, Iraq. Oh, hold on. Wait, what? That's Chicago? Why am I not surprised? Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Lukadowski here of WeAreChange.org. And man, oh man, is there some absolutely crazy news happening today, especially here in the United States. And of course, Iraq, where it looks like the U.S. Embassy was just evacuated, and there's some massive civil unrest unfolding there, just like Chicago, and just like many other people expected to be all throughout the United States. As of course, a lot of people are ratcheting up the stakes and creating some very strenuous situations for civil discourse in this country as things are escalating for a big potential conflict here domestically on political lines. Hopefully, we can do our best to avoid it. And we're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all on this independent media broadcast, while, of course, CNN talks about Krispy Kreme donuts. Yes, if you ever thought there was a larger agenda to make you fat, stupid, and sick, well, here's the perfect example of that. And in somewhat related news, a woman who's valued at $12 million, who gets adored by the corporate media, wearing one of the latest fashion dresses that cost more than people's rent, came out on national television yet after receiving another award for unknown achievements, lectured everyone about how she is oppressed and how people need to be voting in order to stop the oppression of everyone. Lizzo, who definitely is not a starving artist, I think, personally, might not be the best representation of oppression. Now, a lot of people are interpreting her speech to mean many different things, but I think it's pretty clear she meant to call on for the support of more big government, more Democrats, more government intervention in our lives, just like we had in New York recently, where stores there are now legally enforcing a ban on the sale of whipped cream canisters to people under the age of 21. Yes, you heard that correctly. New York, that, by the way, is one of the first cities in all of the United States to have supervised drugs injection sites, has banned the sale of whipped cream canisters to people under the age of 21. Unless maybe they show up to New York City's tax-funded drug den, and then they could do all the whipped cream whippets they want. But if you're at a supermarket, don't even dare. Which is a little ridiculous. You can literally go to a tax-funded, city-run office and be like, hey, give me some crack. The government will literally come out, yes, sir, we got your crack right here. But whipped cream? Oh, hell no! Which is a little bit absurd to me. But these are the policies of big governments that have literally, in my opinion, curated a perfect storm situation when it comes to bankrupting and robbing this country of its wealth. As of course, within the last few years, we have seen one of the largest transfers of wealth in recorded human history, majority of the money coming from middle class and below being transferred to some of the richest billionaires in our society, mainly because of democratic big government safety policies that, of course, destroyed small businesses, that destroyed entrepreneurs, allowed the friends of governments to operate their international corporate monopolies while screwing everyone else over. And as we've been warning you for a very long time, what happened within the last 2 years as a part of a sickness is nothing compared to the larger economic ramifications coming our way. As of course, the current Democrats in office have just signed 4 bills that have totaled nearly $1.3 trillion, billions of dollars for Ukraine, $470 billion for student loan replacements, which actually might be double that number, $52 billion for semiconductor chips, $770 billion for the Inflation Reduction Act, which actually doesn't reduce inflation and creates more of it, as of course the American taxpayers are going to be paying for this. This, along with domestic energy policies that have destroyed prosperity. And what else do you need to know other than there is a deliberate destruction of the current economic world order currently underway in our society? I don't know how else you explain it, because there isn't any other way. With inflation hitting record highs, spending more money is not going to help anyone. Taxing, regulating, destroying people's income is not going to help anybody. Hindering energy production is not going to help anyone. And people in Europe are facing the true consequences of that more than ever, as the price of energy is currently skyrocketing in all of Europe, specifically also in Germany, where the price chart here sees the perpetual rise in power that the people there will be having to pay for. We've been warning you about the dire consequences coming this winter for Europe for many months now. And in Poland, many people are preparing by, of course, going to the local coal mines, waiting nights and days to stock up on heating fuel. While in Brussels, they're calling for price controls and caps. How's that going to work? Well, it's not. This lady that we just confronted months ago at the Bilderberg meeting, the Belgian energy minister came out and said that the next 5 to 10 years in Europe will be terrible unless, quote, Europe moves to impose a price cap on runaway gas prices. How will that work? Well, it won't. It's a crazy policy that, of course, the Europeans put themselves in by deliberately pushing on policies that have destroyed domestic energy production, limited their ability to produce energy, and even went as far as to stop nuclear power plants in Europe, all in the name of appeasing Greta Thunberg, which, looking back on now, was an absolute disastrous move, which I would also say was done deliberately. Why do I say that? Well, I'm going to be talking about that, plus a lot more later on today on LukeUncensored.com, as of course on this platform, we can't share specific things. We usually get to share them on our own website where we get to say and do whatever we want. Today, I kind of want to have a more health-focused video. The last video we did was focused on a lot of economic situations and consequences. I even laid out particular plans, what you should be doing if you're poor, if you're middle class, if you're rich. In this video, I kind of want to get into how I absolutely made a huge mistake with my own personal health that I am paying for greatly, what I could have done differently, what I learned from it, and hopefully you guys will be able to learn from my mistakes. Talking about that, the personal suffering that I am going through on LukeUncensored.com. That conversation is available right now on our platform before we continue this video. Don't forget to click the link down in the description below. Check it out. It's just 50 cents a day, and you get a plethora of value thrown your way. As we just finished the AMA, we're going to be doing another live stream AMA. There's merchandise that's only available for you, 3 master classes, a forum that is absolutely lit. Yes, I said that. I don't care if I'm a boomer. It is freaking lit. And the community that we're building on here is absolutely incredible. Thank you for everyone participating. And it's really awesome to have this platform. It means a lot to have everyone participating in it. LukeUncensored.com. See you there right after this conversation. Now, as we're speaking right now, almost 1 year completely to the disastrous U.S.-Afghanistan pullout, we are seeing some very turbulent updates that are happening at the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, Iraq. As, of course, we're getting crazy videos like this of many protesters storming U.S. territory there, as we're even getting videos of helicopters evacuating the staff there. Yes, yet another example of U.S. Embassy employees being evacuated from a roof. This as chaos unfolds all around them. Now, what's happening in Iraq? Sectarian violence. The U.S., when it invaded Iraq, created a major power vacuum, destabilized the current old political order, and created one that is absolutely unstable, while at the same time with their Iraq invasion, allowing Iran to have a larger sphere of influence on that country. Because of this, people who have different religious beliefs are at odds with each other and how they hold power and how they decide the future for themselves and their loved ones. This, as the major clashes and protests and the unrest have already led to at least 3 people having their lives ended. This as Iraq just issued a nationwide curfew. And what's happening in Iraq is not that far away from a lot of places in the world where people's own personal beliefs are literally creating situations that are tearing the fabric of society apart. Does this sound familiar? Well, I think it's fair to say that there's a lot of comparisons to this to what's happening in the United States, as even U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham came out and predicted recently that there would be, quote, riots if the former president of the United States is prosecuted over classified documents. And whether these statements are true or not, or whether they're just hyperbolic or sensationalistic, it is fair to say that there's a lot of turbulence in our domestic political society. As just moments ago, the former president of the United States declared that there should be new elections immediately after the latest bombshell was released by Mark Zuckerberg about the FBI asking Facebook to bury stories that, of course, made his opponent look bad. This, as we're also learning today that allegedly the FBI also seized privileged documents at Mar-a-Lago from Donald Trump that they were not supposed to. And how will this situation resolve? Well, it most likely won't, especially when we have such rhetoric from the opposite side, like the New York governor who was never elected, Kathy Hochul, that recently came out and told Republicans to go down to Florida where they, quote, belong, because they're not New Yorkers living in their state. Very discriminatory comments that are literally suggesting that if you're a Republican, you should leave New York immediately. Not a very warm welcome. And this political rhetoric is sometimes usually matched by the activism and aggressive tactics of some militant groups, particularly on the left. This as just recently in Roanoke, Texas, there was a kid-friendly, quote, that's an oxymoron in itself, drag show that had left-wing militants come out with their firearms, which is not against the law. As of course we have seen similar activities from right-wing activists, left-wing activists, black nationalists, and for everyone's sake, this event luckily unfolded in a peaceful manner. No one was hurt, no one was injured, but with the political rhetoric getting more heated, getting more discriminatory, getting more embattled, what will be the result of people's response to it? Well, that's a question that a lot of people are asking themselves. What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. I think it would be interesting to get a kind of perspective where you guys think this is going, but essentially this is not going in a good way. Again, for many years now, over 12 years now, I've specifically been calling out the divide and conquer agenda that has been plaguing this country with the two-party duopoly that has hijacked American politics in this country, that has made it the country of corporatists, globalists, and unaccountable nefarious actors that don't give a damn about you and are literally creating this seesaw situation that keeps screwing you whether you're on the left and right. Sure. Lots of things to compare on the left that are a lot more egregious and aggressive on the right, but still, it's this two-party system that, in my opinion, has played in American politics. A lot of this, to me, is ridiculous, and as Americans are looking at each other as the enemies, we have to understand there is an orchestrated, organized gang of robber barons, of thieves, of people who control institutions in this country that are literally robbing you blind. I think that's a little bit more important than going after the hillbilly uncle or the blue armpit-haired Karen aunt that are being weaponized against each other. That's my perspective. That's my opinion. If you thought I was wrong, also let me know down in the comment section below. If you agree with me, share this video with your friends and family members. I got one more video coming your way on LukeUncensored.com. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys watching these videos all the way until the end, sharing these videos. It means the world to me, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on WeAreChange.org.